Boca Grande doesn't look like the kind of place that should exist in modern America. At a time when almost every beautiful coastal destination has been transformed into a bustling tourist hotspot packed with chain hotels, crowded beaches, and endless traffic, this tiny island town off Florida's Gulf Coast has somehow managed to stay remarkably quiet. You won't find towering beachfront resorts dominating the skyline or neon signs competing for attention. Instead, you'll discover streets where golf carts outnumber cars, century-old banyan trees cast long shadows over historic homes, and sunsets paint the sky in shades of orange that seem almost unreal. But what truly makes Boca Grande fascinating isn't just its beauty. It's the extraordinary amount of wealth hidden behind its peaceful appearance. Some of America's richest families own sprawling estates here, worth tens of millions of dollars, yet they rarely talk about it publicly. Unlike places such as Palm Beach, Miami Beach, or the Hamptons, Boca Grande has built its reputation on privacy. It's the destination where old money quietly disappears for months at a time, away from cameras, paparazzi, and even curious tourists. The town sits on Gasparilla Island, a narrow barrier island stretching roughly 7 miles along Florida's southwest coast. Despite its exclusivity, Boca Grande itself has fewer than 2,000 permanent residents. During winter, the population grows as seasonal homeowners return, but even then, the atmosphere remains surprisingly calm. Visitors often describe their first impression as stepping back several decades into an era when life moved at a slower pace. The island wasn't always a retreat for billionaires. In the late 19th century, Gasparilla Island became famous because of phosphate. Rich deposits discovered nearby turned the region into one of the world's busiest phosphate shipping centers. Massive cargo ships regularly docked here, carrying valuable minerals to markets across the globe. Railroads connected the island to mainland Florida, transforming what had once been an isolated stretch of sand into a booming industrial hub. As phosphate production declined during the 20th century, Boca Grande faced an uncertain future. Many industrial towns disappear after their primary industry collapses, but Boca Grande took a completely different path. Wealthy investors recognized something special about the island. Its pristine beaches, crystal-clear waters, abundant fishing, and secluded location offered an experience that couldn't easily be replicated elsewhere. Luxury hotels began replacing industrial buildings. Elegant homes appeared where warehouses once stood. The town slowly reinvented itself as an upscale coastal escape, but unlike many Florida developments, local leaders carefully protected its character. Strict building regulations prevented high-rise condominiums from taking over the shoreline. Commercial expansion remained tightly controlled. Even today, Boca Grande has no traffic lights. That absence of traffic lights perfectly captures the town's philosophy. Nothing here is designed to encourage speed. Visitors quickly notice that many residents prefer traveling by golf cart rather than automobile. The roads remain quiet, and people greet each other with friendly waves instead of rushing to their next appointment. It's an environment intentionally built around simplicity, despite the enormous wealth surrounding it. Walk through the downtown district, and you'll find charming boutiques, art galleries, cafes, and historic buildings instead of giant shopping malls. The architecture reflects old Florida rather than modern luxury developments. Palm trees line the streets, colorful flowers bloom year-round, and nearly every storefront blends naturally into the relaxed coastal atmosphere. Yet behind these picturesque streets stand some of the most valuable private properties in Florida. Waterfront mansions hidden behind dense landscaping often feature private docks, expansive gardens, guest houses, and breathtaking Gulf views. Many of these homes rarely appear in celebrity magazines because their owners generally prefer anonymity. Among Boca Grande's seasonal residents are business executives, investment leaders, industrial families, and individuals whose fortunes span generations. Unlike celebrity-driven communities where wealth becomes a public performance, Boca Grande attracts those who value discretion. Expensive yachts quietly enter the marina without attracting crowds. Luxury cars often remain parked, while owners explore the island in simple golf carts. Privacy has become one of Boca Grande's greatest luxuries. That privacy extends to the beaches themselves. Boca Grande Beach consistently ranks among Florida's most beautiful shorelines, yet visitors often find long stretches of soft white sand nearly empty. Seashell collectors arrive early in the morning searching for treasures washed ashore overnight. Dolphins frequently appear just offshore, while pelicans glide effortlessly above gentle waves. The surrounding waters also make Boca Grande one of the world's premier fishing destinations. Every spring, anglers from around the globe arrive hoping to catch the legendary tarpon. These massive silverfish can weigh well over 100 pounds and are famous for spectacular jumps after taking the bait. Boca Grande Pass, the deep channel separating Gasparilla Island from neighboring islands, creates ideal conditions for tarpon migrations. The annual tarpon season has become part of the town's identity. Experienced fishing guides spend decades mastering the local waters, while visitors eagerly book trips months in advance. For many wealthy homeowners, owning property here isn't only about beautiful beaches. It's about having direct access to one of sport fishing's greatest adventures. Nature remains remarkably preserved across much of the island. Sea turtles nest on Boca Grande's beaches during summer, protected by conservation efforts that limit artificial lighting near nesting areas. Birdwatchers regularly spot ospreys, herons, egrets, roseate spoonbills, and bald eagles. Mangrove forests provide habitat for countless marine species, helping maintain the area's ecological balance. The town's commitment to preservation explains why Boca Grande still feels authentic despite its immense property values. New construction must often meet strict architectural guidelines. Historic buildings receive careful restoration instead of demolition. Large-scale commercial projects rarely receive approval. Even the famous Boca Grande Lighthouse reflects this dedication to history. Built in the late 19th century, the lighthouse once guided ships safely through the surrounding waters. Today it serves as a museum, preserving stories from the island's maritime past while offering visitors panoramic views of the Gulf of Mexico. Another fascinating chapter of Boca Grande's history involves the mysterious pirate José Gaspar, often called Gasparilla. According to local legend, Gaspar terrorized ships throughout the Gulf during the late 18th century, accumulating enormous treasure hidden somewhere around the island. Although historians continue debating whether Gaspar truly existed, the legend has become deeply woven into local culture. Treasure hunters have searched Gasparilla Island for generations, hoping to uncover buried riches worth millions. None have ever found definitive evidence of the legendary pirate's fortune, but the mystery continues, adding another layer of intrigue to Boca Grande's already captivating reputation. Perhaps the greatest irony surrounding Boca Grande is that its exclusivity comes not from flashy displays of luxury, but from what it deliberately refuses to become. There are no giant amusement parks, no crowded nightlife districts, no endless rows of souvenir shops, no towering hotel complexes stretching across the beach. Instead, Boca Grande offers silence. That silence has become increasingly valuable in today's connected world. Wealthy families who spend much of their lives surrounded by constant meetings, media attention, and public scrutiny come here seeking something money rarely buys elsewhere: genuine peace. The local community fiercely protects that atmosphere. Residents often support policies limiting overdevelopment, preserving natural habitats, and maintaining the island's historic character. While property values continue rising, many believe Boca Grande's greatest asset isn't real estate, it's restraint. Even during Florida's busiest tourism seasons, Boca Grande feels refreshingly different. Visitors can ride bicycles beneath towering royal palms, explore quiet nature trails, watch spectacular sunsets without fighting massive crowds, or simply enjoy conversations on shaded porches overlooking the Gulf. Of course, visiting Boca Grande isn't inexpensive. Accommodations can be costly, particularly during peak winter months, and waterfront homes regularly sell for astonishing prices. Some estates have been valued well into the tens of millions of dollars, reflecting both their scarcity and the island's enduring appeal. Yet despite these extraordinary prices, demand remains remarkably strong. Wealthy buyers understand that very little undeveloped land remains. Strict zoning regulations ensure that Boca Grande is unlikely to experience the explosive growth seen elsewhere along Florida's coastline. Scarcity continues driving both prestige and value. Unlike destinations that constantly reinvent themselves to attract larger crowds, Boca Grande seems almost indifferent to publicity. There are no massive advertising campaigns encouraging millions of tourists to visit. In many ways, the island relies almost entirely on reputation and word of mouth. People discover Boca Grande through friends, family members, longtime visitors, or quiet recommendations rather than flashy marketing. That understated approach only strengthens its mystique. The less attention the town seeks, the more intriguing it becomes. Perhaps that's why so many first-time visitors leave feeling they've uncovered one of Florida's last genuine secrets. Not because nobody has heard of Boca Grande, but because so few places have successfully resisted the pressures of modern tourism. In an age where social media encourages every hidden destination to become the next viral sensation, Boca Grande continues doing the exact opposite. It values privacy over popularity, preservation over expansion, and tranquility over entertainment. Maybe that's the real reason America's wealthiest families keep returning year after year. They're not simply buying beachfront property. They're investing in an increasingly rare way of life, a place where sunsets still matter more than skylines, where neighbors wave instead of rushing past, and where the greatest luxury isn't being seen, but quietly disappearing. For everyone else, Boca Grande offers an important reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary places aren't the loudest or the most famous. Sometimes they're the quiet island towns, hidden behind swaying palms, protected by generations, determined to keep them exactly as they are. And in a world constantly racing toward bigger, brighter, and busier, Boca Grande proves that true exclusivity isn't about showing off wealth. It's about finding a place so timeless, so peaceful, and so carefully preserved that even the richest people in America would rather keep it a secret.